Hey Astro Kids, and welcome back. And in today's video, we'll be talking about what it looks like to have Life Path 4. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. Before we start, you first want to understand how to calculate your life path number. And there's an example of this on the screen. You want to add up all of the digits in your birth date until you get to a single digit. And if you get to 22 when you add up these numbers, then you don't want to break them down. We are going to make another video on master number 22. But for those of you who reach the number 4, this video is for you. And Life Path 4 is falling within the trio of numbers of 2, 4, and 8, which are all numbers that have to do with responsibility and structure. So Life Path 4 is ruled over by Rahu in Vedic numerology. And as we know, Rahu is all about this material incarnation that we are in. Rahu is the force that brings us into this physical world. And so this number of 4 is all about this physical construct that we exist in. And so if you think about the 4 as a box or as a house, you know that there are 4 corners, and so it is all about that foundation, that structure. So 4s are very much grounded in reality. These are people who are very down to earth, who are very practical, who are very detail oriented, very meticulous, very much about what you can see and feel through your physical senses. It is about the reality that is right in front of you. So Life Path 4s are very structured people, are very much about being organized, about being disciplined. They love to have structure and order. There is difficulty for Life Path 4s when they do not have this structure. So they oftentimes will find ways to add structure to situations that are unorganized. Life Path 4s oftentimes start off at a young age where their life is very disordered, where there's disorganization, there's chaos, there is everything that is all over the place. And this creates a feeling of instability. So from this leads to creating this structure with time. Keep in mind that the life path is all about the lessons that we are here to learn. So we are slowly growing into our life path number. So this usually is not something that comes easily in our younger years. It is something that we have to learn, that we have to go through, that we have to build up within ourselves. So this life path 4 is going to be someone who is very hardworking, who is very much about achieving, about striving forward, who has the persistence, who has the resiliency to keep going in life. This energy is all about building. It is all about building a sturdy foundation. So these are the people who believe that hard work pays off. These are the people who are willing to put in the time, willing to put in the effort, the hours, who are very practical, very realistic, very much about the hard path in life. 2s can sometimes come across as very rigid, very stubborn people. They are very difficult people to change their minds. Again, they are all about the structure, all about the discipline, all about the right and proper way of doing things. And so sometimes part of this life path is a lesson of being more flexible, of being more accepting of others, because many times other people are not able to live up to your expectations. As a life path 4, you can be very hard on other people, very critical, very judgmental, because you are someone who is willing to put in the effort, who is willing to do things in the right way. You are wanting other people to do the same. And sometimes other people are not capable of being as disciplined as you are. Usually as a life path 4, you will enjoy having a planner or a checklist where you can manage everything. You're very good at keeping things under control. And with life path 4, this can even give you a great ability to deal with crisis situations, to deal with disorganized situations, where you are able to manage and control things in a structured way. Life path fours can also be extremely traditional people, all about following family traditions and conventions. You can be the person who does the same thing every year for the holidays, someone who is all about bringing people together and maintaining traditions. Oftentimes, there is a struggle early on. Again, this is a life path number that requires a great deal of hard work and effort. However, oftentimes this is going to pay off in the end. So this is a position where we can see millionaires, where we can see business CEOs, leaders, all sorts of people who are achieving and being successful in these high positions. This is all about your perseverance, your ability to keep pushing forward, to keep making the effort happen. Sometimes there can be some impatience with this number. There can be a feeling of wanting to push forward and to manifest those desires, but it is all about remaining patient, remaining disciplined, which is something that tends to come naturally to those of you with this life path 4. Life path 4s can also be very skilled with numbers, and so therefore very skilled with finances. You are good at keeping on top of your finances, good at saving, good at investing, good at knowing how to use money properly and how to build your resources, which ultimately makes you very successful in the long run. As a life path 4, you are someone who is very reliable, who is very much the person who others can go to for support. Sometimes, though, there is a tendency to be overly cautious. For life path 4s, you can also have difficulty along your spiritual path because of how realistic and practical you are. There tends to be difficulty with letting go and being able to go into that spiritual space. For you, you need to see something that is realistic, something that is reliable. So to go into this abstract space oftentimes is very challenging. Sometimes as a life path 4, you also can have difficulty with having fun, with relaxing, with celebrating your victories. You are someone who likes to work, so you are continuously putting effort, driving forward, and this can create a situation where you are too rigid, where you're not taking care of your needs, your need to relax, your need to recharge. This is very important that you are focusing in on this. As a life path 4, because you are so practical, so realistic, you also have very good judgment. So you become a person who is able to give good advice to your friends, good advice to those around you. You are someone who always comes with the truth, who comes with what is logical, what is realistic, and so therefore you are very good at guiding other people. On the negative side, because you are so strict and disciplined and all about structure, you can sometimes push other people to the extreme if you are focused on achieving a goal, focused on that drive to push forward. And so again, it's very important that you are coming from a space where you're understanding other people and what they are capable of. There can be a tendency to become controlling, to push people past their limit. And this can also play out in parenting. As a life path 4, you can be a very loving and supportive parent, but you also can be very strict and all about being hard on your children, all about making sure that they are understanding the reality of life. Typically, as a life path 4, you also can dress well. You can come across as someone who is very clean looking, who is very proper looking. You have a way of presenting yourself to others. And you also can come across as someone who is very down to earth, very grounded. You can make others around you feel very calm and secure. This is also a very strong number, and this strength can come through physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. You are someone in general who is very strong, who is very sturdy. There is not much that can shake you because you are all about creating this security, this structure, and others can feel this from you. As a life path 4, you are a great planner and organizer. You can see where your life is headed in the next 5 years. You're someone who always is on top of things. You want certainty. You want predictability. You're not someone who likes a lot of surprises or deviation from the plan. You're also someone who is very honest, and sometimes you can be honest in a way that can hurt other people's feelings because again, you are very rational, very realistic. So you are not necessarily concerned with the feelings of others. You are more about being honest, about being truthful, about stating what is. You can do very well in areas of business, of finance. You can do well in situations that involve the physical. So you can also be very skilled at handiwork, at fixing vehicles, at dealing with all of these practical concerns. This number 4 is very much grounded in the physical world. Along with this, you are someone who is reliable in the sense that if there is a job that needs to be completed, you will get the job done. If there is someone who is working towards a project and they want to see it through until the end, you are a good person to go to for this. Again, you have this perseverance, you have this ability to persist. You are very much about getting those tangible results. You do want to be careful, though, about repeating mistakes because of your tendency to stick to traditions, to stick to routines. There can be an inflexibility which can stifle your growth, where you need to be more flexible and to look to other options. Along with being hard on others, you can be very hard on yourself. For you, it is very important that you're able to remain disciplined, hardworking, to do things in the proper way, to stay true to what you have set out to do. So any small mistake that you make, you can beat up on yourself over this due to this rigid structure that you have. In relationships, you can be someone who is very reliable, very loving, very supportive once again, but you do want to be cautious over choosing people based upon how reliable and disciplined they are. You want to make sure that you are choosing partnerships that are truly in alignment with yourself. And you can have difficulties around breakups as well because you are all about this structure, this security. So when there are breakups, when there are sudden changes happening, this is very disturbing for you and can be very difficult to get over. It is very important that you are able to be more flexible, to be less hard on yourself, and to take these experiences as lessons. So some of the careers that are related to Life Path 4 are architects, engineers, construction workers, lawyers, landscapers, those involved in finances, all sorts of IT technical professions, anything related to lecturing, teaching, guiding, counseling, athletes, scientists, situations that involve structure, that involve maintaining organizations, that involve organizing and planning, any sort of positions of managers, of CEOs. All of this is strongly related to this Life Path 4. And so ultimately, Life Path 4 is all about building that foundation, that long-lasting, firm structure.